What's up everyone, I'm Jacob and today I'm here with a pretty special team. I've hinted at it in a couple of my videos, but I do have two cats. Their names are Banjo and Toaster Strudel. They are the sweetest little guys, they're so cute, they're the light of my life, and they're the inspiration for this team. I probably have pictures of them on the screen at this point, but Banjo is this big guy, he's an orange cat, he's beautiful, the most photogenic guy in the whole wide world, and Toaster Strudel is still a little skittish, but he's so sweet, just very, very little, and a little black cat with these most beautiful eyes in the whole wide world. And so, when I was coming up with this team, I was like, well, I already have a shiny Entei, and shiny Umbreon is a black cat with yellow eyes, so, pretty easy. The rest of the team is, just trying to figure out how I can make those two Pokemon work in Series 12. Of course, the obvious issue is that Solgaleo is really the only cat-restricted Pokemon, unless I wanted to run Solgaleo plus Necrozma Duskmane, which I'm absolutely not doing. I did build a team around them with like a weakness policy Necrozma plus just a fully offensive Solgaleo, and it was not good. Could not beat Groudon, could not beat Yveltal. But don't worry, this team also really struggles against Groudon and Yveltal, but I do have some answers to them a little bit, some soft checks at least. Palkia, just kind of have to squint your eyes and pretend it's a cat, but really is a good job just gluing this team together. Hard beats Kyogre, can do a lot of damage. It's another fast Palkia, so it does outspeed, Zacians and Calyrex-Shadow riders if Palkia's either at +1 or if those Pokemon are at -1. So that's really helpful. Telepathy allows Entei to go for Bulldozes next to it, get some speed control there. Solgaleo is pretty self-explanatory, just the weakness policy with the Scarf Entei for the Bulldozes, and then just coverage moves to do as much damage as possible. Really trying to one-shot the Kyogres of the world and Yveltals. Entei I've mentioned a couple times already, but has the Choice Scarf just there to do some damage. It's adamant, so it really can hit Zacian very hard. A Sacred Fire, if I get the burn, is almost always a guaranteed one-hit KO on Zacian after the burn damage, or Snarls to limit Calyrex-Shadow Rider's damage, Bulldoze for weakness policies, and Speed Control and Stone Edge for those Charizards that don't have Charty Berry. Umbreon I really, really like as just a glue Pokemon in this format. I was really torn between running Taunt and Yawn in that third slot. Snarl, Foul Play, and Moonlight are really just necessary on Umbreon in this format to hard beat special attackers, do some damage with Foul Play, and then Moonlight to heal back up. It's really, really good in the Sun matchups because of those safety goggles. It beats Venusaur, and I can taunt it back, not let it get any sleep powders off, and just go from there. Speaking of Sun counters too, the Leafeon is pretty much only on the team to beat Groudon, because in the Sun, it gets the Chlorophyll, it's faster than everything. With the Rose Incense, a Leaf Blade can one-hit KO a Kyogre that does not have any defense investment, and a Max Overgrowth off of Leaf Blade will one-hit a max HP Groudon if they don't Dynamax. So it can hit pretty hard, and it has really surprisingly good defenses. All of the evolutions have one stat that's 130 base, and then the rest of them are pretty mediocre, all things considered. The Leafeon is base 130 defense. It's only base 65 HP though, so I'm just running max HP, max attack. It can live a Behemoth Blade, and in testing, this Leafeon took 80% from a Groudon's Heat Crash in the Sun. So, it's pretty bulky. The Rain Dance I don't really click too much, but that's just if I get into the situation where I expect a Groudon Protect or something along those lines. And then the Meowstic is honestly the MVP of this team. Again, just max HP, max defense on that one, but Meowstic can take like 40% from an Urshifu's Rapid Strike. It lives as Zacian's Behemoth Blade, with Charm and Light Screen can do a ton to just disrupt the other team. That's really one of the better checks I have into Yveltal is just get a Light Screen up and go from there. But Charm hard beats Zacian, other physical attackers, the Thunder Wave for more speed control, and of course the Sucker Punch activates Solgaleo's weakness policy, and can pick up some surprise KOs if the opponents are at 10% of their health or lower. As always, rent-a-code's on the screen right now. You can find the Pokepaste in the description below. It's a really fun team. I'll be honest, it's not very good, but it can do a lot of really cool things. The Scarf Entei can catch some people off guard. Umbreon is just super, super good. And, Palkia and Solgaleo cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. So, the team, all in all, is definitely not the worst thing I've ever built. Very excited to play with it some more today. And lastly, question of the day as well in the comment section below. Tell me just one thing you're excited for. You know, it could be Pokemon related, could be just anything. You know, for me, I just got finished watching a set in the Victory Road World Cup. Juan Castillos from Guatemala used a Zacian and Dialga restricted core with a Talonflame and just completely annihilated a Zacian Kyogre with a Landorus that all had Tailwind support. It was super, super cool. You know, made me really excited about Dialga, about Palkia. Those Gen 4 dragons, I think, are just really, really underrated. Which you can probably tell because I use Palkia on pretty much every team that I make. But outside of that, too, also signed up for the Little Root Lessons Draft League that's going to start in, I think, the second week of August. So super, super excited for that. You know, getting to meet some more people, play some more Pokemon, and it'll be a pretty good way to create some more content for the channel. So super stoked for all that. Let me know what you're excited for down below, and let's just get into the video. Alright, first battle of the day, and it's another Solgaleo. Solgaleo Kyogre with the Zapdos. They do have Tailwind on their side. All in all, not the worst matchup. The tricky part is they do have that Tailwind, so I can't safely lead the Entei plus Solgaleo, but I could go Solgaleo Meowstic. I could go Solgaleo Meowstic with definitely Palkia to beat their Kyogre, and the last spot is either going to be Entei or Umbreon. Entei could be really nice in the late game with some, you know, Choice Scarf Sacred Fires onto their Solgaleo, or some Snarls if I really need an emergency check to Kyogre in the end game. Umbreon has the Foul Play that I can do a lot of damage with, as well as Moonlight, but I think we're going to be in rain for pretty much the whole game, and I do kind of want a better way to beat the Rillaboom and the Zapdos, if necessary. So I think I will go Entei. I don't feel super great about it. The Umbreon is pretty physically defensive, but I don't know if it can take a Solgaleo's, you know, max Steel Spike if they get their weakness policy activated. Assuming it's weakness policy too, with the Tornadus, you can just Brutal Swing yourself and go from there. But we'll see. We are running a decent bit of speed on our Solgaleo and Palkia. Neither one is max speed, but Palk is 149 stat, so just fast enough to outspeed the Zacians and the Calyrex-Ices. And Solgaleo is 158, so it always outspeeds a max speed Landorus before they get any Airstream boosts. We do see just the Tornadus and Solgaleo. They have the shiny Solgaleo, which is really cool. I know it's a very controversial shiny, but yeah, what do we want to do here? We can't lower their special, or we can't lower their attack. I kind of just want to protect this turn, anticipating a max Steel Spike on my Solgaleo, but they're always going to have the speed advantage unless I get the Thunder Wave off, which actually, I will protect this turn and go for the Thunder Wave into their Solg. They just protect Tornadus. They also don't max, which I think is really good for me, because we do have the Focus Sash on Meowstic too. As we get the Protect off, let's see if they protect. They don't. We get the Thunder Wave. Beautiful. And that's going to go a long way in neutralizing their Solgaleo. They do just Earthquake, which I guess they are thinking I'm probably not weakness policy. I think is a very interesting play. Meowstic, of course, being so defensive. Meowstic's stats are really bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but you know, you can get pretty good with the defense there. I'm also not Dynamax Candied because, you know, there's no need. I'm never going to max the Meowstic. This turn, I would love to Steel Spike the Tornadus. It doesn't really put on too much pressure on my Solgaleo. We'll also see whose Solg is faster. So I will Steel Spike the Torn. They're probably yeah, I would think Tailwind this turn feels pretty likely for them. But I'll just Thunder Wave the Tornadus too, just in case something switches into that spot. I don't think a Sucker Punch would do too much for me in that position because I can't imagine them using Brutal Swing now to potentially activate my weakness policy. I think the Protect turn 1 you know, I really only stay in there and protect if I have the weakness policy, is my thought process. So that's what I'm thinking they're thinking. They do Tailwind. So let's see whose Solg is faster. As, well, of course, Meowstic's going to get the Thunder Wave off first, always nice. And they're paralyzed. We do get the Steel Spike up. So if they just Earthquake again, I think we're in a great spot. They're probably Focus Sash, but we aren't going to know because they take that pretty well. Solgaleo's not the strongest Pokemon if I don't get my weakness policy up, and they're just paralyzed. Okay. Is that good for me? I would really have liked them to go for an Earthquake. But we have both of them paralyzed now, which feels pretty good. They don't have any other... They have Zapdos, but I would imagine they probably didn't bring it. It's probably like Incineroar or Rillaboom in the back with the Kyogre. But I can't super safely go for Max Quake here. We do see that we're faster, which I love. Oh man, I really want to Max Quake though. Yeah, I'm going to Quake, and I'm going to Sucker Punch to activate my own weakness policy at this point. Again, the Tornadus doesn't scare me at all. And they're just going to protect too, which is fine by me. They are trying to stall up my Dynamax as they also protect. And they're going to, you know, at least get 2 turns of my max without me really doing any damage. But I get my weakness policy up. I'm going to get a ton of damage onto their Solgaleo. And knowing that we're faster, even with their Tailwind, I think this protect hurts them a lot more than it helps. Because that's pretty solid. It definitely would have one-hit KO if they hadn't protected. And now we've got +1 defense and +1 special defense. They're also weakness policy, as we could have guessed. If they max here, I don't know if they live. Because we would have done, that is like a third. We would have done 4 times that, so we would have done like 130%. Divided by 2 is just under 70. So I think it's going to be close, but I think if they max, we still KO with Max Quake here. And they have, what, 2 turns left to Tailwind. Yeah, I don't really lose anything by just going for Sucker Punch on the Tornadus here. It could KO. I would think it's probably not going to KO based on the damage we did with Max Steel Spike. And that's assuming they even attack with Torn. But they are going to max. Let's see. Let's see. I think this is going to be really interesting too. They could also just try to like taunt Meowstic, which is fine because then we're not doing anything with those mons. But I think this, based on the damage I did through Protect, I think this is a roll. I think this is a roll to KO with our own Max Quake. They're going to Protect again, which is interesting. They go for the double, that's fine, as the Sucker Punch is going to do nothing. But if this KOs here, I think we probably just win, right? As that is, yeah, going to do enough. Wow. Yeah, that Dynamax is super risky too. Plus you're already paralyzed, so there's, you know, that 1 in 4 chance that you just don't move. But now +2 special defense, +1 defense, and we haven't even set up Light Screen yet. So if the Kyogre comes out here, then I think we're in a pretty solid spot. Solgaleo is... If they bring out a Kyogre, I think I just target down the Tornadus. As, yep, it is the Ogre. Because if I get Light Screen up, I do not fear that at all with my Palkia, and they shouldn't be able to knock me out with... even, like, you know, they shouldn't be able to knock me out with a Water Spout. So my +2 special defense, I'll have Light Screen. So that's Sunsteel Strike. And even if they... Well, because they have Tailwind plus the Paralysis, I'm thinking even if they taunt, we'll still move first because they're paralyzed. But I have no speed investment on Meowstic because all of my moves are boosted by priority. So they're probably still faster if they want to go for like a Prankster Taunt here and keep me from getting Light Screen up. So they're just going to withdraw the Torn. Goes into what, like Incin? Rillaboom. That's not going to take this very well. That's not going to love taking a Sunsteel Strike. They do at least preserve a Tailwind for later in the game, which I think is good for them, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Origin Pulse comes out, Meowstic avoids, which I don't know if that's good for me. As, yeah, we take nothing from that. With Solgaleo, we Sunsteel Strike into the Rillaboom. I don't know if this will KO, depends on how much defense investment they've got. But it should do a lot regardless. So excited for that. As, yeah, not quite a KO. But here, we're pretty free. Yeah, as Tailwind peters out, we're pretty free just protect with Solgaleo. And I don't really need Meowstic for anything, but it's also just a dead spot on the field. Part of me really wants to go Entei here, but I don't know if we survive an Origin Pulse even with a light screen up. I would think probably not, actually. So let's just Charm the Rillaboom. Make that thing useless. They could, read the Protect, which is super obvious, and try to fake up Meowstic, but no, goes in the Solg. And yeah, I mean, the Rillaboom we already really weren't worried about anyway, because again, we do have that +1 defense, but now it's doing nothing, and the Thunder goes into Solgaleo. So we know that they're not Choice Scarf, which is nice, which will mean that we do outspeed with our Solgaleo. It could mean that they're bulkier because they don't have the Choice Scarf, in which case Wild Charge isn't necessarily a guaranteed KO. If they're close to max HP, then Wild Charge is a roll to KO. If they're no bulk, Wild Charge always does get the KO. Since we have our weakness policy up, but yeah. Let's grab a screenshot of that just to be on the safe side. As we Wild Charge is very free, and let's Sucker Punch that slot just to increase the odds. As they're going to withdraw the Kyogre. I mean, you're just going to get Tornadus KO'd here. Rillaboom is going to do nothing because they're at -2. Sucker Punch again does fail. It's a really slow endgame at this point. But at least we do get to see the Meowstic just take nothing there. Ah, man. Meowstic, if I get the Zacian to -1, so Zacian comes in, I Charm, they are down to -1 after the Intrepid Sword boost. Meowstic takes 40% from a Behemoth Blade. It's disgusting. I love super defensive Meowstic. And, interestingly, too, on the Meowstic, we're also Impish, so it's plus defense minus special attack, since we have no special attack investment. But being minus special attack instead of minus attack on Meowstic actually makes a Sucker Punch into Calyrex-Shadow Rider do 10% more. It's still not quite a 2-hit KO, but double Sucker Punch after an Entei Snarl is always a 2-hit KO. So yeah, we just Wild Charge Kyogre again, Sucker Punch that slot. No reason to worry about the Rillaboom at this point. Kyogre could protect here, that's fine. Rillaboom's not going to do anything as the Boom protects. Cool. Will we finally see Meowstic get to do some damage to the other side of the field? Honestly, I think that's all the chip we need. And bang. Got it. That's what I'm saying. Meowstic carries this team. Meowstic hard carries the cat team, which you love to see. And at this point, I mean, there's nothing they can really do. I never switched out of my leads, I'm realizing. Yeah. I never had to switch out of these two Pokemon, because they brought... It was just Torn Ogre in their lead. Or no, it was Tornadus Solgaleo. And getting the paralysis down turn 1. Yeah. I mean, there's just nothing they could do. The interesting thing here, too, is they're going to cancel was, does my Sucker Punch go before their Grassy Glide? How much speed investment do they have? But, yeah, super slow endgame, but let's just go right on to the next one. Next one, and it's a Calyrex-Ice Rider Reshiram. So definitely hard Trick Room. Definitely hard Trick Room with the Instant, the Gastro, and Amoonguss. So Umbreon could be really important here to keep the Amoonguss from doing Amoonguss things. Solgaleo Entei feels pretty safe, though, because they don't have any big means of speed control. Entei can't get faked out by the Incineroar because of Inner Focus, also is immune to Intimidate. And a Bulldoze plus Max Quake, I would think probably just KOs Reshiram. Umbreon again is really important here, and I think it's got to be Palkia as the last. Another one where Meowstic could be good just to get like Charms and Light Screen up, but I think Palkia just puts on more pressure, and again, Palkia is pretty speedy, so probably outspeeds both of their restricteds outside of Trick Room. First thing here is always going to be deny Trick Room, and honestly we have a pretty good way of doing that with the Solgaleo and Entei. Because Entei can't get faked out, we could Bulldoze to break a Disguise and then Max Steel Spike a Mimikyu. We could also, yeah, if they go Mimikyu Incin, if they didn't lead Incineroar, we could like Sunsteel Strike the Mimikyu because that attack ignores abilities. That's just a pretty cool thing about Solg. But the Intimidate does nothing because of Full Metal Body and because of Inner Focus. Yeah, I mean, this Mimikyu's in pretty bad shape. Because Bulldoze plus Steel Spike into that slot is always super free. The other potential play, like, they could have led this trying to bait a Steel Spike in the Mimikyu and go out into Reshiram. But I'm not super scared of Reshiram either. So yeah, we Steel Spike into the Mimi and Bulldoze. And I don't know what they can do about this. They're going to stay in with both. So, yeah, I mean, their best bet is either Protect Mimikyu, which doesn't really exist, or, you know, try to Parting Shot with Instant, but that Pokemon just doesn't do anything because both of my physical attackers are immune to Intimidate, and they can't lower Solgaleo's stats with a Parting Shot. Yeah, I mean, that's their best play, is try to fake out Solgaleo. It's one of those things that, you know, you can... Sorry, the cats are getting fed right. We have automatic feeders for the cats. So if you heard any jingling or food getting put out. But, yeah, I mean, fitting for the cat episode. I knew I was recording in the afternoon, that they were going to get lunch around this time. But they are Eject Button Instant. So yeah, I mean, that doesn't really affect me at all, I don't think. But yeah, no, back to what I was saying before I get distracted. The best play they can make is that fake out into Solgaleo, because they do have the option, potentially, like, I have the option, rather, to not Dynamax Solgaleo and to just go for a straight Sunsteel Strike on a Mimikyu. And it's a play that I think a lot of people would make just because it's very cool. It's the same idea as, like, whenever you have Scrappy on a Pokemon, like if you have, like, Kangaskhan out there, Miltank, although you don't really see that in VGC, you can fake out a Ghost type, and a lot of people will just do that instinctively because it's cool, and it's a very, you know, niche scenario where you actually can do that. But yeah, I mean, they have Calyrex, they have Reshiram. A little spooky because I can only KO one this turn. And so the question is, do I want to let Reshiram Dynamax and do a ton of damage to Solgaleo, or do I want to let Calyrex get Trick Room up? If they do get Trick Room up, I'm not in the worst shape. The other question is on Entei. Am I going to switch Entei out? I think I always Max Quake into Reshi, because it's either going to be Reshiram or they could switch into Incin. And I would think a Max Quake KOs. We are going to go into Umbreon, though. Just to, you know, live some hits as they just cancel. Okay, good. That's fine by me. I don't think that battle is over at all, because, you know, they could get Trick Room up with Calyrex that turn. They could, you know, not Dynamax Reshiram. They'd have to basically sack that to get Trick Room up. But at that point, I really don't think that the Calyrex can handle Solgaleo. So, yeah, could have happened. But either way, we'll take the win. Head on to the last battle. All right. I said last one, but I think because the last battle that I had was pretty short, I'll probably do another one after here. I also feel like I've faced this person on ladder a few times. Definitely a different team, though. Very Steel type, very Trick Room. Again, another Dark Urshifu, which is going to give me some issues. But I would think probably Metagross has the weakness policy, and they really do want to get Trick Room up. Again, Solgaleo Entei is probably my best way to deny Trick Room, unless I lead Umbreon. But if I lead Umbreon, they could go Zacian and just KO before it can get the taunt off. So I think it's still Solgaleo Entei with Umbreon and Palkia. Meowstick's always, in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I see a Zacian, I want to get, I want to charm the Zacian, I want to make sure it can't do much, but I think because they index so heavily on Trick Room, and because if they get Trick Room up, I'm in a pretty bad spot, because the Metagross can kind of run through me, I think I do want to go with this lead. They also, again, don't have any Tailwind, and whenever I don't see Tailwind, I'm like, oh, Scarf Entei, fastest thing on the field, let's go. So yeah, Haku, if you're out there, very, very unlikely that you would be watching this video, but let me know. I feel like I've faced Haku before. But yeah, they're gonna lead, the Dusclops and the Calyrex. As I go Solgaleo Entei, a calc that I should know does Bulldoze plus a max Steel Spike at +2 KO the Dusclops? Who's to say? They do find out that I'm Choice Scarf and Weakness Policy. I probably could have guessed that anyway. So let's see. I kind of want to bet it does. Because Dusclops is super bulky, but not that bulky. And they could, protect Calyrex and... I mean, what? Their other steel resists would be, like, Ferrothorn or Metagross. If they hard read me here and go Trick Room with Calyrex and hard switch to Metagross, or hard switch to Ferrothorn, I mean, good on ya. That's a great play. I do get the defense boost either way, though, as they're not going to switch. We'll see what they do here. Calyrex-Ice Rider should not be an issue for Solgaleo. The whack part about Calyrex-Ice Rider, though, is that if it gets Trick Room up and can max Quake, it can be an issue. But we just have to try to deny a Weakness Policy, as they're going to protect the Calyrex. Perfect. It's the best way this turn could have gone. The hope here is that we do KO the Dusclops with a max Steel Spike at +2. Because Bulldoze is going to do more than I thought. Okay, and most Dusclops are going to run more special defense than physical defense because you want to live... yeah, it was a crit on the Dusclops, that's why it did so much. But they're going to run more special defense than physical defense because they want to live an Astral Barrage. So that does not get the KO. Unfortunate. Oh, that's pretty bad. We do get the defense boost, though. Their entire team is physical. So, could be worse. Could be a lot worse, as we're going to switch Entei out, because it's really valuable outside of Trick Room. The Dusclops could Will-O-Wisp, which would be pretty bad, but it would basically just negate my Weakness Policy. I would imagine they probably just activate their own policy here. But I do want to get rid of the Clops as soon as possible, because they could also Pain Split and just be annoying. So let's Steel Spike, let's get another defense boost, and go out to Umbreon. Palkia is another one that outside of Trick Room could put in some work against the Calyrex. And again, just like seeing Umbreon shiny, I think it's really good. I like that it has the yellow eyes. I didn't realize that there was the difference, that regular Umbreon has red eyes, shiny Umbreon has yellow eyes, but I think the shiny just looks so good. As they are going to max the Calyrex, that very much implies a Weakness Policy activation on their end, but with... Yeah, I didn't want to give them Weakness Policy, as yeah, they are just going to Pain Split. Perfect. So we should be able to KO the Dusclops now. So we're going to Quake into Solg. Do we live 2 of those after another Steel Spike? I think we do. I think we do live another. The other play that we could have tried was, just Steel Spike into the Calyrex, but again, I really don't want to give them a Weakness Policy And I want to get Dusclops out of here as soon as possible so that it can't burn me, it can't just stay on the field, and do whatever. So we get another defense boost that should let us live a max Quake, so they'll have to double into Solgaleo to get the KO. Let's see what they bring in here. I would imagine like Urshifu, Zacian are the last, but it is Ferrothorn. It is Ferrothorn. That's why we kept Entei around. I'll say that right now. Umbreon, it's Moonlight, it's Taunt. Taunt Pharaoh could be really nice. This is my last turn of Max, though. And there are 3 more turns of Trick Room. So let's Steel Spike and Taunt the Pharaoh. Unless they double into, like, they'd have to, like, yeah, Gyro Ball plus Max Quake, I think may KO Solgaleo. But I know a Max Quake outside of Max is definitely going to knock me out. We live. That's huge. That is step 1. Because stalling out this Calyrex' Dynamax is going to be really, really nice, too. So we are able to taunt the Ferrothorn, which is very, very nice. And we're going to get a Steel Spike off onto the Calyrex. It is going to activate a weakness policy, but that's so much damage that it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So this is going to be the policy. Makes sense. But all we have to do is stall out Trick Room, and we're pretty set. They can only knock out 1 this turn, too. Because a Gyro Ball at +3 defense should not KO Solgaleo. They could body press that slot, which may. So I'm going to protect Solg. Because their play to secure a double knockout would be body press Solgaleo plus like a Hailstorm into Umbreon. So I'm going to protect and go for a foul play onto Calyrex. They could also try, if they don't have body press, which I can't imagine, because they just max guard. Okay. We get the protect off. We're not going to deal any damage with Umbreon this turn because they max guard, but a Power Whip. So what, it's Power Whip Gyro Ball. Is that... That could be Assault Vest on Ferrothorn. I really like Assault Vest Ferrothorn. I ran one a lot early Series 12 on a Kyogre team that I thought was super, super good. So last turn of Trick Room, perfect. We just go for the double here because we lose nothing by it. And they can Glacial Lance, which sucks. But has Umbreon done its job? I think so. If it is Urshifu or Zacian in the back, Entei's going to outspeed. I can Sacred Fire and Burn. So we'll just go for the foul play. I can't imagine Umbreon lives this. But we'll see as we don't get the double. They're going to Power Whip into Umbreon. So yeah, Glacial Lance, I'd be so surprised if that doesn't KO Umbreon here. Which is a little unfortunate, having to sack both and give the Calyrex all these boosts. But we live. Oh, wow. Umbreon's bulky. Umbreon's so bulky. Okay. That's huge. That's massive. So we're going to foul play into the Calyrex, get that KO. The question here is... Do we go Palkia or Entei first? If it's Urshifu's the last, then Entei could Sacred Fire, potentially get the burn. If it is Zacian's the last, Entei's definitely the right move, because we get a burn on that. Palkia comes out and lives a play rough. I would like... My thought process here is I would prefer Palkia over Entei if it's an Urshifu, because we force them to pick which Pokemon they're going to KO. But I am just going to go Entei. I'm going to go Entei. I think there's not much the Ferrothorn can do to Entei, as it is the Urshifu. Makes sense. Urshifu probably KOs Entei with a Wicked Blow. It's just straight up. But if we get the burn, I think we live. It ends up being, what, it's like a 45% chance or 47% chance. I think it's like 47.5 to get the burn because there's also the 5% chance we miss. So I'm going to Moonlight with Umbreon. They could also just not be Body Press on Ferrothorn. They could be like Leech Seed Protect, Power Whip, Leech Seed Protect, Power Whip, and what is the last? Is we do get the burn. Huge. Okay, cool. I was trying to distract myself. Wicked Blow into Entei shouldn't KO because we do get the burn there. As, yeah. Even without the burn. Looks like it was a roll. As their Life Orb. Wow. Moonlight's super nice. Moonlight is super nice as we're going to be able to live. But they're going to Power Whip again into the Umbreon. We take that pretty well. And yeah, this game should be pretty much over. They do shake off the taunt with Ferrothorn, but I'm just going to taunt it again. Because the way that they win this is like Leech Seed plus 1,000,000 protects. And just live every hit. So it's Sacred Fire and Taunt for safety. Because a taunted Ferrothorn cannot beat anything. So we Sacred Fire, we do hit. That's great. They're Life Orb too, so they could have like Sucker Punched, but that wouldn't have KO'd unless they get a crit. Yeah, so I mean their play was just hoping for the 5% miss on Sacred Fire. And yep, no Leech Seed for you. And there you go. Honestly, the two Pokemon that inspired the team. You got Banjo and Toaster Strudel right there on the screen. Sacred Fire into the Ferrothorn's going to pick up that KO. And Foul Play makes contact. So I'm just going to Moonlight here. I don't think it matters because unless we miss Sacred Fire, Umbreon's not going to attack this turn. And not anyway because I'm going to get the opponent to forfeit. But, you know, another great game with Haku. And we'll... Yeah, I think we'll put in one more on the video because that second game was just so short. Alright, here we go. Last one of the day. And that's a doozy. The Zygarde with Comfey, I usually say. Could go either way on the pronunciation. Thundurus, Incin, Calyrex, and Rillaboom. See, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. But they don't have Tailwind. So we can just go Entei, Solgaleo pretty freely here. I am a little bummed out that we didn't get to run into any Groudons today because Leafeon didn't get to come out at all. Yeah, I think it's going to be Solgaleo. Thing is, I want to go Solgaleo, Entei, Umbreon, Meowstic, and Palkia. Obviously can't do that. But I think it's Solg Entei because we need to get that Snarl or a Bulldoze off depending on their lead. Umbreon is super good into, into Stall. And it's either Meowstic or Palkia at the end. Meowstic could shut down the Zygarde. Yeah, honestly, I like Meowstic a lot here. Because Charm can shut down Zygarde. We can, Thunder Wave. Yeah, I'm going to leave Palkia behind, I think. It's not even a cat anyway, so, why bring it? But yeah, the Charm can shut down Zygarde. Sucker Punch is going to be good for, like, a, Focus Sash on Calyrex. We can get the Light Screen up for the Calyrex as well. And Thunder Wave is just, solid utility. So I think Meowstic is kind of the move, as they go Calyrex-Zygarde. That's interesting. Calyrex-Zygarde. I mean, they could just try to set up Zygarde from turn 1, which I think would be a wild play. The unfortunate part is I do have to target the Calyrex. If we, like, Snarl and Max... If Entei snarls and we max the Solgaleo, we do live an Astral Barrage pretty comfortably. But, I hate to do that. Because we just take so much damage. The question here is, does Bulldoze plus Max Quake knock out Calyrex? Because they could also go into, like Incineroar. But I don't think I'm going to risk that. I'm just going to go for Steel Spike because outside of Calyrex, their team is so physical. And the defense boost is just going to go so far, I think. And they're not going to switch out. They could protect Calyrex here, which also makes sense. But, protect on Calyrex is just going to get you knocked out by a Steel Spike or a Bulldoze next turn. So let's see how they go with this one. You know, one thing I didn't consider too is like Scarf Calyrex. Thankfully, it's really not that common, so I don't have to worry about it too much, as they do go max on something. Beast Ball, probably Zygarde. That's a little interesting, as they do max the Zygarde just off rip. Makes me glad that I brought the Meowstick, as we're going to drop their speed, so everything's going to outspeed them. Protect Calyrex is fine. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice. Ideally, they just knock out Entei here. And we can bring up Meowstick and just start, you know, doing work with the Solgaleo. But we'll see what they go for. We are going to get the what's it called? Defense boost for Max Steel Spike. And we didn't bring Palkia, so we don't have super effective damage into the Zygarde anyway. So yeah, a lot's going to hinge on how they handle this turn. It's definitely a Max Quake coming out from the Zygarde. The question is, who is the target? Solgaleo should take it pretty well. Entei is probably going to faint. As they do target Entei, and we live. Thinking about if I like that or not. I think that's fine, actually, because that means we can just Bulldoze and Steel Spike the Calyrex again this turn. Outside of Dynamax, I'm really not too scared about the Zygarde. They, in the back, likely have Comfey and probably Rillaboom over Incin, because the Incineroar just doesn't do anything to my team. But it could be the Incin. That actually wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me. So let's just Bulldoze and Steel Spike again. If it's Rillaboom instead of Incin as the last, then this is a super safe play. But it is going to be Incin, so we're at least going to pop a potential Shuka Berry with our Bulldoze. We get to see again that the Intimidate means nothing to this pair. And again, we are going to get a defense boost, which is the more important thing. And at +2, another Bulldoze plus Steel Spike into the Incineroar might just do it. As always, whenever you're facing a Zygarde, the goal is to isolate it on the field and take care of it in the endgame. Another Bulldoze definitely doesn't knock out the Incineroar, but I don't think that matters too much. The Incin I'm not super worried about, as they're going to Quake again. See what this targets. It's going to go into Entei, and it's going to get that KO. But that's fine, because this turn, yeah, we have one more turn of Max. We can Charm into the Zygarde. Well, no, they have Fake Out this turn. I want to keep that Focus Sash on Meowstick. So let's go Umbreon, actually. Unfortunately, we have to go Umbreon. We can... well, we can taunt the Incineroar to keep it from parting shotting. Keep it stuck on the field. We can Quake it just to get the knockout. We could Steel Spike to deal some damage into Zygarde. Steel Spike would also KO the Incin from this range. And they definitely don't have any other switch-ins, because it's definitely Comfey is the last. So, what do I want to do? I think Steel Spiking into a Max Zygarde is just... there's so little value in that play, because... I'm going to Foul Play into Zygarde, just for a little bit of chit. But there's so little value, as they're going to Max Guard anyway, perfect. There's so little value into attacking, even with a +2 Solgaleo, into a Dynamax Zygarde, because, you know, they've got the big form, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger that they can turn into after half health. Plus, you know, they already have double HP from Dynamax, and then they have double HP on top of that from going into Father Form, as Pokemon calls it. So, like, there's nothing gained from attacking into that. They now have to make a choice, because Incin's gone. They lose their Fake Out pressure. They could go into Calyrex and just get put down by Umbreon, or they could go into Comfey and get put down by Solgaleo. So, up to them. They do go Calyrex. Snarl from this range, I don't think KOs. I think it's it might. But if they have like any HP or special defense investment, which I know some Calyrex are running these days, which is crazy, then they could survive. So, just easy protect Solgaleo and foul play into Calyrex, because that's a guaranteed KO. Calyrex could try to scout this and protect itself to, like, waste my protect turn. That's a really smart play. That's really good on them, as we are not going to live an Astral Barrage with Solgaleo. So that actually puts me in a pretty tough spot. 1,000 arrows shouldn't do too much. The question here is, do I go for the double protect with Solgaleo to keep Meowstic's Focus Sash? Or it would basically be like sack Meowstic, throw away all my boosts on Solgaleo. I think it's a 1 in 3. I think I have to go for the double here, because I don't think I can beat Zygarde without these defense boosts on Solg. I should have thought a little bit more about that play too. Let's foul play Calyrex this turn. If we get the double, I think we probably just win. As we don't, Astral Barrage is going to get this KO on Solgaleo. And yeah, that's tough. I really should have thought about that play more. On the bright side, Zygarde does no damage here. So we are going to get the KO on the Calyrex. And I think there's still a chance, as crazy as it sounds, with Meowstic and Umbreon in this endgame. They have a bunch of special defense boosts. They just 1,000 arrows again. So what we do with Umbreon next turn, we charm Zygarde with Meowstic and Moonlight to get some HP back, because Comfey could actually do a decent bit with a Draining Kiss. Actually, I'm really not worried about the Zygarde right now, am I? It's doing so little. They could get a weakness policy up is the problem. They could like Draining Kiss themselves and activate their own weakness policy. So let's charm Zygarde. And Umbreon moves before Zygarde anyway, because we got the 2 speed drops on it. So we are going to get the Moonlight off before they attack. Yeah, I mean, this is still a tough endgame for them, because I just don't think Zygarde can do enough damage to keep up with the healing that we have on Umbreon. The downside is that they have 3 special defense boosts on the Zygarde, as they're going to Draining Kiss themselves. Yep, we're going to undo that with a Charm. Yeah, I mean, we could have, like, foul played that turn, thinking that, we're going to live a boosted 1,000 arrows anyway. But, I mean, 1,000 arrows at neutral. Let's see how much damage it does into Meowstic. Not much. Perfect. That's a crit, too. That's a crit. Okay, so Meowstic's super not worried about this. I think we charm... No, I don't think we need to charm again. I think this turn we Thunder Wave the Comfey, because that's their way out of this. Because I really don't have good damage into that. And... yeah, I'm thinking. Let's charm Zygarde again. Just make it useless. And go for... Is it a Snarl or a foul play here? I think it's Snarl, because I'm lowering their attack. Okay, Comfey can ally switch. I definitely want to stop that. So a taunt is going to be paramount, I think, into one of these slots. As we are going to Snarl at least. Yeah, that is nothing. I don't... The thing is, if we can get rid of the Comfey, we can win on timer with Umbreon against the Zygarde. Meowstic's gonna live another 1,000 arrows. The question, like, now we have to guess, basically. But but if I Charm and Taunt the same slot, I at least guarantee something out of the turn. So let's Charm Zygarde and Taunt that slot. Because Umbreon's not in any danger this turn. They are going to Draining Kiss Umbreon. No, they're going to Draining Kiss Meowstic. And we're going to live after another crit. Not... Oh man, that's pretty unlucky. I mean, Meowstic wasn't really doing damage this game anyway. But just having another Pokemon on the field is really nice. So we Taunt the Zygarde. The problem is that I don't know if I can knock out Comfey. You know, Zygarde's going to do no damage to Umbreon in the endgame, but I just don't think I have the damage in the Comfey. And I didn't get the Taunt off onto that slot, so they can just keep ally switching and going from there. Snarl crit is a way out of this. I think I just have to go for Foul Play, though. So I think they do... No, I don't think they click. Yeah. Let's Moonlight once. Because the Draining Kiss is actually going to do a little bit of damage. Yeah. Draining Kiss plus 1,000 Arrows this turn is always the play for them, I think, because they want to gauge damage. But we're going to get back to full here, and... Yeah. This is tough. Like, Foul Play crits are really all we can do at this point. As, yeah, I mean, like, Zygarde does no damage. Comfey is doing very, very little. But... Yeah. So let's see. If we knock out one of them. If we knock out one, I think we can... I think we can win this game. On timer. But that's probably their end game here. I wanted one last battle because I was like, oh man, like we're going to, you know... We were so quick on the second one. I'm going to try to like sneak in a fourth battle this video, but... Yeah, I'm not doing enough damage. I'm just going to forfeit here. That's unfortunate. We're going to drop to the Zygarde. I don't want to make, you know, you guys sit through us playing to timer here. So, yeah. We go 3-1 with the cat team. Pretty impressive, and, you know, I'm going to use the team again. Hopefully, we ran into a Groudon. We can bring out the Umbreon, or bring out the Leafeon, and go from there. But, you know, as for today, just get to the rental code and get the video done. Alright, and there you see it again, the rental code for the cat team. You got at least 5 cats on there. Entei is probably a little debatable. I didn't mention that earlier, but I kind of always grew up thinking it's a dog, and then, you know, it's like a lion, so who's to say? It fits the theme, though, and it looks a lot like Banjo, who's sitting right underneath the chair right now. But yeah, had a lot of fun with the team. All in all, not too bad. You know, I every once in a while I'll, like, you know, make some plays with the team, and I'm thinking, like, man, either I'm a decent team builder, or I just run into, like, I don't think I run into any good matchups, you know? But, you know, don't need to toot my own horn too much. You saw how the team performed in the video today. Solgaleo Entei is just really solid, especially if they don't have Tailwind, as we got a little bit lucky with some of those lead matchups today, like you saw. But, yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe, helps out a lot. You know, having a lot of fun building some of these teams. Again, got a couple more ideas, but you can leave some suggestions in the comment section below as well. And while you're down there, answer the question of the day. Just something that you're looking forward to, something you're excited about. Again, I mentioned the Little Root Lessons Draft League starting up in a couple weeks in August. Super, super stoked for that. And yeah, just the rest of World Cup, watching that. And just keep on keeping on in summer. It's been a pretty good time so far. So yeah, that's all I have. Thank you again so much for watching to the end of the video. I'll see you next time.